for about 15-20 minutes on a low boil. Still a boil, but a very low boil, not a rapid boil. And we have got one heck of a broth cooked here. We got some really good flavor to it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take us another pan that's actually a little bit bigger than that one. Can be the same size, but mine's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to take my colander and I'm going to put in the top of this, like this. I'm going to put this into the sink, and I am very slowly, and be careful because this is boiling water, I am going to pour this into that other pan through the colander. That way my broth will go into the pan and all my meat's going to be contained in my bones so that I can pick through them, making sure all the bones are out of this soup and I only have meat going back in. And at this point I can get my fat off of there and stuff of that nature because I'm done with the skin. I really don't want that into my soup. I just wanted the flavor in there. So let me get over here and I'm going to pour this right in. I got to do this slow and careful so I don't get burnt. I'm going to get my pot holders on here. And we're going to come over here and pour this soup very slowly. Just like so. Very slowly so that my liquid goes into the pan, doesn't spill into the sink. Just like this. I'm keeping it this time just the broth going into the colander. I don't want my meat in there yet. I get it just about out. Now my meat's going to go in. Very slowly. Look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. You turn that stove off. Done that for a minute. And I'm going to bring this over here. Now, I got a lot of steam coming off, but look at the meat on this bone. It's ready to pull right off these bones. And I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to put that into another bowl so that it cools. Okay? So here's another bowl. Get my glasses on here. And very carefully, not to get burnt, I'm going to get these bones over here into this bowl. Okay? So that they start cooling. And I'm going to cool them down until they're cool enough. Look at the meat fall right off them bones. Yee-haw! How can you beat that? I'm going to cool these down so that I can work with these. I don't want to get beat pulling meat off. And it might take 10 or 15 minutes to do that. Let's get the skin out of here. Look at that. There's my onion for flavor. Okay? And I'm going to put that right into the broth. It's whole. That's going right into that broth. Kerplunk. Alright, and I'm going to pick through the top of this a little bit. And I'm going to make sure that I don't have any bones now and fat in here. I'm going to get the fat out of there. Let's put that over here. Now, as you can see, I've still got quite a bit of meat in this colander. And I'm just going to make sure that there's no bones and fat in here. And I'm going to dump this meat right into that broth. Because this is already picked. And I don't need to cut it up. Those are nice sized chunks. If you want small, you can cut it up if you want. No big deal. But I just want to make sure there's no bones in there, more than anything. Alright, then I'm going to dump that right into the broth. There it is. Get all of it out. That's good flavor right there. Look at that. Okay? That's going in there. Now, I am going to pick this up down to produce. This is thyme. I don't want a lot of this in there, but I want a little bit of flavor added to this. So I'm going to take probably one stick. And I'm going to peel my leaves off it. I don't want the stem going in there. And this is going to equal about, actually I want a teaspoon in there. That's about a quarter teaspoon. I'm going to use another stick. Okay? And that'll give me almost a teaspoon in there. PapaTucks teaspoon! Yeah! Okay, there's that. Now that's perfect. Then we are going to take some Italian flat parsley. You can use any kind of parsley you'd like. I like to use Italian because of my mom. She's half Italian. Yeah! So we're going to take, and we're going to put these right in there. And I'm going to take about that much right there. And I'm going to break the stems off, okay? Like this. I'm going to get my stems off of there. And I'm going to throw my stems away. I don't want them in there. And I'm just going to break these up a little bit in my hand and let them drop in. That's it. Just let them drop right in there for flavor. There you go. Now, I'm going to take and cut some scallions into this. Now I picked up a package of scallions. And let me show you what I'm going to do with them. These are fresh from the produce. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 scallions here. I'm going to wash these off a little bit, and I'm just going to chop these up, throw them right in. Okay, I'm going to get the roots off the bottom of them. We do not want them in there. There you go. All the roots are off. Get them right out the way. And we are just going to chop these into 1/4-inch slices. About like this. What we're going to end up with here is about a 1/4 cup of scallion. Okay, we don't want to put all these in. We're going to end up with about a 1/4 cup. And I'm actually tossing about that much of the roots, the leaves in there. And them are going right in there for flavor. Now, I am going to throw a bay leaf in here. A whole bay leaf. Plunk, going right in. We are going to put Monterey chicken seasoning in here. Okay? And I'm going to put a PapaTuck pawful in there. That's just a little bit of flavor. Okay? We are going to also add a chicken bouillon cube to this. Okay? Don't really need it, but I like to put it in there. We have enough flavor off this broth that we made, but I always like to add a bouillon cube. And all you're going to do is put a cube whole. Don't do nothing with it. Just drop it in. That's going to boil right into it. Now, remember your new cooks, like I said earlier in the show, you can put broth in there if you'd like to, but we don't need to. We've got a nice broth flavor right here cooking. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to add my vegetables to this. Okay, I'm going to add 3 cans. I'm going to leave the top on. There you go. Now, if you wanted some more juice into this, you can actually use the vegetable juice that's in these cans. And what I'm going to do, and it's all up to you, but I'm going to use 1 can, all the veggies and the juice, and then I'm going to strain these other 2 from their juice. Throw them over the sink, like that, and then we're just going to put the other 2 cans right in there. And if you'll notice, I left the can top on that can just a little bit, both sides, so I can work this with my fingers, and I got all that out all at once. This is going to need some corn, and I like to add a can of corn to this. The wife loves the corn in the turkey soup, so we're going to put a whole can of corn in here. And again, these cans are 15 ounces per can. So I'm going to get the juice out of the corn, okay? Just like that. And I'm going to dump that can of corn in there. Now we're also going to add a can of green beans to this. Same size can. Actually it's 14 ounces, this one is. But they're, same size cans, basically, in the store. And I don't want the juice in here, so I'm going to dump the juice out. Okay? Let me get the juice out of the beans. If you don't like beans, don't put them in. We like beans in our turkey soup, so we're going to dump the beans right in there. There it is. Now, this soup is ready to go on a low heat. So I'm going to turn the stove on low heat over here. Not high, but low. About like that. And we're going to put this right on. We're actually going to bring this back up to a boil. Slowly. For a minute slowly on the burner. At this point, what I want to do is I want to get the rest of my meat in here. So I'm going to start, I can handle that now. I'm going to start plucking the turkey off of this and put it right back into that colander. And like I said, we want to make sure that we don't get any bones into this. We really don't want no fat in there neither. Okay? Look at that. We're going to get that bone all cleaned off of the meat. Now, here's another thing. This bone can go back in the soup. Okay? I want to get the fat off it more than anything.